Hey everyone, this is Reggie from Restore Plus Physical Therapy. In today's tip of the day, I want to share with you 3 great exercises if you have rotator cuff problems, if you have rotator cuff tendonitis or an impingement syndrome. These exercises works very well. They work wonders if you have this condition. But I want you to remember though, if you have a rotator cuff tear, do not do these exercises. I don't want you to do these exercises if you have a torn rotator cuff, especially if there's retraction and severe tear. Mild tear, sometimes we do this still, but I don't want you to make that decision. If you have a rotator cuff tear, make sure you consult a specialist like us so we can guide you if this is right for you or not. All right, but if you have just inflammation there, just have tendonitis, and the most common tendonitis and most common cause of inflammation in the shoulder is the rotator cuff tendon. I want you to do these exercises, and it's going to help you a lot. The rotator cuff, a lot of our patients, they call it the rotary cuff, but actually they're referring to the rotator cuff. The tendonitis there, it's one of the most common inflammation in the shoulder, and let me explain to you why. Because the rotator cuff tendon goes through a narrow space here, the tip of the shoulder, where the acromion processes and the head of your humerus. So in between, so the acromion process, the roof is the head of your humerus there. So in between there, it's a small space, the rotator cuff tendon passes through. Now, once you have some form of, let's say you do prolonged activities, repeated activities, heavy lifting, and it causes some irritation, it causes some inflammation. When that tendon gets inflammation, they get bigger, you have some swelling there, and then it's a small space, it will easily rub on those surfaces, and it's gonna cause more inflammation with that rubbing. Okay, so that's why it's very, very common in the shoulder. So now, how do we address that? Of course, you address the modalities, the inflammation using modalities, but the most important will be the exercises. So what are these 3 key exercises if you want to strengthen your rotator cuff, or if you want to get rid of that tendonitis? Okay, so let me show you, what these are, because these are exercises that we commonly give to our patients. So if you can do it yourself and you can get rid of the pain, you don't really have to see a specialist like us. Then you can just do it on your own. If not, if it doesn't get better, then that's a time that you can contact a specialist. If you want to reach out to us, you'll see the number in there below, or you can contact us through email, or if you're watching this through social media, you can DM us and we'll be able to help you. All right, so let's get to those 3 exercises. The first one is, all right, I want you to use resistance bands. Okay, if you don't, you can actually use weights. You just have to modify the positioning, but I like to use resistance bands. They're so easy to work with. Oh, let's say, so the first one is, I want you to use, so these are resistance bands. You can get them from, you can even get them from Amazon. So the first direction I want you to do is, so you're going to use a resistance band. You can tie it to something like, at the bottom. You can have the leg of a dresser or something, right? Or you can actually even just step on it, and that will work as well. Just step on one end of that resistance band. And what I want you to do is I want you to pull it up and then kind of diagonal this way. So you're actually 30 degrees from the side. Okay, but if you don't know what 30 degrees is, go more or less diagonal. You're not gonna be that far off. Okay, so I want you to do this. Make sure elbow doesn't bend, and make sure the resistance is light enough for you to be able to do this. Make sure it's not causing pain. All right, so I want you to do up and down, going that way. How many times? I want you to repeat it 10 reps. At the beginning, or you can progress up to 15 repetitions. You can do 3 sets. Okay, do it once a day. So that's the first direction. You're going up, kind of like 30 degrees from the side. That's your scapular plane, or you can go 45 degrees. You're not going to be that far off. Okay, so that's the first movement. The second one is, I want you to do going inwards, because part of the rotator cuff tendon are muscles that goes internal and external rotation. So that controls the rotary movement. Okay, hence maybe that's why some people call it the rotary cuff, but I think it's just the name. But anyway, so you can tie it to something like side, okay? How high? Ideally, it's going to be as high as your elbow, but anything to the side, you should be okay. Now, if you don't have something like this, one thing I do, you make a knot on one end of the resistance band, and then what you do is you throw it to one, like go to your door, and then just swing it, throw it to one side, you close the door. And then the knot will actually prevent you from being able to pull the resistance band coming through the door. Or you can put it on the doorknob. Make sure the doorknob is strong enough. I like using the loop because that way I know it's not going to come off, okay, or I'm not going to damage anything. All right, and then you can do these two movements. The next two exercises are both using very similar positioning, okay? So the first is you're going to go internal rotation. So having it like this, how far should you be away? Don't stretch it before you do the exercise. I want you to just take up the slack. So when you do this without really stretching, and then you're holding it already. So if I go kind of sideways, so here, don't stretch it and then hold. So you're just taking up the slack and then you're holding it already, okay? And then what I want you to do is I want you to go in. Keep the elbow in. So if I'm doing it, let's say this way, let me see. All right, so I want to make sure that you can see it properly. Let me move out. Okay, so keep your elbow in, and then from here, I want you to go in to your tummy and out. So from here, in, and then out, okay? Make sure the elbow is next to you. Don't do this, okay? If it's too heavy, then make it lighter. Now, the other one is, a lot of times people will tell you put the towel roll underneath here. You can do that if you're having a hard time keeping your elbow in place. Now, that works in a lot of cases, but some studies have shown that if you actually put a towel there, you're actually squeezing it, you're squeezing it in place, holding it in place, you're using some of the other muscles to hold it in place. So some studies have shown that that's not ideal, okay? I prefer to just have the person control the movement, control the elbow there, and then they'll be able to do it this way. But of course, not this because it doesn't pull. So ideally, it's gonna be, I'm gonna here, and then take up the slack, and then I'm going this way. All right, let me see if I actually, like from the other side, if it matters. No. Okay, so going this way, going in. All right, so that's the, when you're going internal rotation. Now, the third exercise that I want you to do for this will be the opposite of that, the external rotation. So how do you do that? Same principle, you take up the slack, but now you're going to actually be doing it this way, okay? So you take up the slack again, and you're starting with your hand like in front of your body. That's where you take up the slack, right? And then what I want you to do is from here, keep your elbow in, and then you go out. This will be a little bit more, more difficult than going in because you're gonna be weaker going this way. So hold, and then out, okay? Going this way. All right, and the same position, you can use the door frame, you can use the doorknob, and it's using the resistance band also. All right, so all those three exercises, I want you to start with 10 repetitions. You can move up to 15 reps as you get better, as you get stronger. You do it 3 sets. You can start with 2 sets, do 3 sets. And you can do it once a day. That way, you can help strengthen and retrain those rotator cuff tendons. That will help you keep that pain when it's down by using some modalities. You get the pain down. That will keep it down, and that will prevent it from coming back. All right. So I hope this is helpful for you. If you're undergoing some, if you're having some rotator cuff issues, definitely try this. And if you know anybody else, share this with them. It's going to be very helpful for them. If not, then yes, definitely consult a specialist. So that way you can be guided properly. All right, let me know what your thoughts are. I would love to hear them. Put them in the comments below. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for watching this video. Remember, I need you to comment, like, subscribe, and share this video so you can help transform other people's lives. And let me know what you want me to discuss next time so I can help you stay pain-free and stay healthy. I'll see you in the next video.